Aviators. The place where high performance and high altitude aircraft fly is a hostile environment. When there is a recent physiologic incident, and periodically when there is not, it is always worthwhile to review conditions that exist in that hostile environment. Let's review hypoxia and look at a few catastrophes associated with hypoxia. Larry Glazer, president of the TBM Society, and his wife were headed to Naples, Florida from Rochester, New York in their TBM aircraft. A TBM aircraft is a pressurized turboprop flying with about 6 seats. The wearing of oxygen masks is not required because the aircraft is pressurized, but are immediately available for quick donning in the case of a pressurization failure or the loss of cabin pressure from a leak in the pressure vessel. Despite the knowledge that the aircraft had developed a pressurization problem, the Glazers did not don their oxygen masks, nor did Mr. Glazer, the PIC, declare an emergency and begin descent to a lower pressure altitude. Confusion ensued, followed by unconsciousness and death for both. Quite unnecessary with proper knowledge and training about hypoxia, its detection and correction. I wonder if Mr. Glazer ever had altitude chamber training. Here is another somewhat recent crash related to incapacitation and most likely hypoxia. A Cirrus turbo flies to fuel exhaustion, and the pilot is observed by the chase plane to be unconscious and most likely dead by that time. More mishaps. Is this hypoxia? Very likely it is. There are other crashes where hypoxia is suspected to be a cause or play a part in the misfortune. Corporate aircraft are flying faster, 0.9 Mach and above, and higher, with some at flight level 510. That is almost space flight. Are these aircrew wearing an oxygen mask at these flight levels, even when one of the crew is out of the cockpit? When I ask that question, I usually get a no. Fortunately, explosive decompression is rare. The brain is constantly starving for oxygen. It uses a full 25% of oxygen production. For its weight, the brain uses 6 times the oxygen of other tissues. Cut off the oxygen by a gradual increase in the pressure altitude of the cabin and add failure to recognize the early symptoms of hypoxia, and the situation will result in unconsciousness and aircraft mishap. Here are some elements of an explosive decompression event. With the quality of production of modern aircraft, it is highly unlikely, but not impossible. In the higher flight levels, the time of alertness and consciousness where quick reaction is needed is measured in seconds. The percentage of oxygen molecules in any volume of air never decreases, but the number of molecules present does when the ambient pressure is reduced. I suggest that everyone purchase a portable oxygen saturation monitor, also known as a pulse oximeter. It's battery operated, lightweight, and will give you valuable information in the times of physiologic stress from activity, the environment, or even in times of illness. It's less than 25 bucks at Amazon. The amount of oxygen present as related to the maximum amount of oxygen that can be carried in the hemoglobin molecule is termed saturation. The hemoglobin molecule can carry varying amounts of oxygen depending on the partial pressure of oxygen in the system, that is, in the body or in the environment. Notice the saturations at different altitudes. As saturation decreases, the number of available oxygen molecules is reduced. Let's look at how the hemoglobin molecule operates. The hemoglobin molecule, tetrameric or with 4 components, can't simply grab onto the oxygen molecule and hang on for dear life. It has to have some mechanism by which the oxygen is onloaded where the oxygen supply is high and offloaded where oxygen is needed. The supply is high in the lungs where oxygen is plentiful and partial pressure is high, and the oxygen is delivered to the tissues where the opposite is true. The oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve mathematically describes this process. I won't repeat the litany of hypoxias, but other things do interfere with the quality and availability of oxygen. Bottom line, the brain must immediately be resupplied with oxygen. All other tissues can wait. Recognize hypoxia early and deal with it immediately and effectively. I thank you for your attention about this critical aeromedical subject. Thank you.